Mario versus Zelda. Which is the greatest Nintendo franchise? Well, the winner, it's Mario. Yep, that's basically it. I mean, let's break it down. So Mario wins this particular battle between The Legend of Zelda against the Mario series. But why? Well, number one, the games are better. Mario just generally has better games. Critically acclaimed, and from the fans, they're just more beloved, and they're just better, well-made video games. They're better executed, better stage designs, more creativity. I mean, if you compare the greatest Mario titles against the greatest Zelda games, I mean, let's look at Zelda. What does Zelda have? A Link to the Past, Super Nintendo. That's one of the greatest Zelda games of all time. And Ocarina of Time. Those are probably the top two in terms of critical acclaim when they came out and a long-lasting appeal. Those are the two games in the Zelda franchise that are considered the pinnacle of that series. And no other games have come close to those titles. Some people might say, well, Majora's Mask and Twilight Princess and all these other ones. Ocarina of Time was an amazing 3D version of the Zelda franchise, and it was the first one really that they ventured into. Great open world, big world, you can ride around a horse, and it was just a realized experience. Great music and everything. Link to the Past was a 2D classic. The overhead view and everything. It had the great gameplay of the 80s Zelda games and the modern graphics of the Super Nintendo. And it was this big grand adventure. Great weapons, excellent storytelling, and great environment. And those are the top two. Everything else is secondary. They're inferior games. I'm not saying they're bad, but they're not as good as those two. And then that's it. That's it with Zelda. That's all you get. Mario, every generation seems to have at least one gem that's incredible. That's groundbreaking, that's different, that's unique. That is just a must-have. It's like a killer app. I mean, the original Mario Brothers, and all the way to the Mario Brothers 3, those were excellent from the 80s and the early 90s. And then you have Super Mario World for the Nintendo SNES. That was amazing. And then you have Mario RPG, classic, relatively, admittedly more of a casual role-playing game, but it was still very fun and incredible epic adventure. And then you have all these other games like Mario Kart, for example, a classic, Mario Kart 64. And then he ventured into the other sports games like Mario Tennis and Mario Golf and Mario Party, which is more of a variety game, mini game type of thing. And then you have Smash Brothers, another Mario style game. It's more of a fighting game, actually, a collection. What else? Yeah, I mean, Mario 64. And then you went to the GameCube, you got the fucking, God, Mario Sunshine, Mario Galaxy for the Wii, and the sequel. So, Mario has had a huge number of great games. In comparison, he's had more variety. He's the mascot. They take more time and effort, I think, in building up Mario and just putting more prestige in his titles and his name. Zelda is more of a predictable thing. It's more of an action-adventure, and that's all you're really gonna get. You don't get kart racing games with Zelda, or sports games, or anything like that. You don't get these variety. It's just a straightforward action-adventure with role-playing elements. And that's pretty much it with Legend of Zelda. I mean, it's so predictable. Even if the games are good, they're just predictable. Mario Galaxy, you know, these games try something unique. Super Mario 3D World is like the highest rated Wii U game at the moment. And what do you get with Zelda? You get a freaking Wind Waker HD re-release, you know, Jesus. So it's not it's not the same. I mean, obviously, Zelda is almost like this, I don't want to say elitist, but this kind of smaller crowd of gamers that really enjoy that style, and then Mario is more for just everybody else. Platforming, kart racing, sports, brawling fighting game, you know, that kind of crowd. Everybody else has that. But if I had to take games, the best games from each franchise, I would definitely pick Mario. And put it this way, if you were stuck on an island and you can only play either Mario games, the entire library of Mario against the entire library of Zelda, Mario wins. It's not even close. Zelda's got a couple of titles, but what you're going to get with Zelda is just a couple of experiences. The 2D games, like Link to the Past and all that shit, and the 3D games, like Ocarina of Time and all that. And that's all you get, and it's the same, like, an action-adventure type of thing. Mario has way more variety, and they're actually really good games. Mario wins. It's not even close.